Here we are then with game 2 of match 2. Against the third round of Swiss. My opponent Callum playing Chaos Theory, playing Personal Evolution Jinteki. We both took a mulligan this round, so I've just cut ahead to the point where we actually start playing the game, rather than you watching us shuffling endlessly. So, fairly typical install, and install. Leaving HQ wide open, not too worried. Again, I'm not expecting him to have splashed for a Count Siphon. Installing Magnum Opus, very nice first click. The Keymaster Code Gate Breaker. Already using through memory, but obviously gets an extra one with Chaos Theory anyway. And rezzing my Melange, taking 7. Diesel, drawing up to his hand, and then installing Dinosaurus. So his console's out already, looking to build a very powerful breaker. But with the Melange protected, I'm feeling quite comfortable. I can click for money as often as I need to before I start installing and advancing agendas. And finally taking some money. And test run. And what's he going to install? He's going to install Mimic onto Dinosaurus. Interesting play. Looking to completely nullify the threat of my Neural Katanas and any other sentries that I may be running. It's a very strong play against Jinteki, I have to say. Sentries being as dangerous as they are. And speaking of which, there is Mr. Itchy, which I res. Knowing full well that he can break through, but that's fine. Cost him a fortune to do so. Oh! And he sees the fetal AI, which he can't steal, because he doesn't have the money. The damage still goes through. Still do 2 net damage because of the card. Oh, just absolutely fantastic when that happens. So there we go. Note to self, for anyone running on Jinteki, always have 2 credits spare. Nothing worse than taking the net damage to the face and also not being able to score the agenda, which I obviously draw into my hand, which is unprotected, so I'm a little bit concerned that he's going to try and come in and find it. I've solidify R&D, knowing full well that he can break through that, protect HQ, or at least dissuade him from casual runs against it. So my opponent clicks for money and draws cards. So 4 credits, 2 cards. Still have my Melange to use if required. Means I can soak up as much money as I want, but obviously the strength of Jinteki is scoring the early agendas, trying to get your opponent to play to your requirements. So I do take the Melange money. He reinstalls Mimic onto Dinosaurus, and personal touches it. Sounds a little bit rude, but nevertheless, yeah, it's a very, very strong sentry breaker now. I think that's running at 7 strength. Either way, it's going to blow through any sentry that I have, including the Itchy, which is protecting R&D currently. So that is now a less significant threat. Still costs him 3 to break through it, however, which isn't to be sneezed at. One of the reasons why I love Itchy, it's just a very strong piece of ice. I love high costs, high strength to cost ratios. So installing the remote. I think it's a Jackson. Oh no, it's not. I tell a lie. It's a snare. But for some reason, in my deluded mind, I thought it was a Jackson that I was installing, having had it in hand, and actually try and use it as a Jackson shortly, which is a little bit embarrassing and completely give away the game. Anyway, I'll come on to that shortly. So I'm now trashing my Melange, having soaked it for cash, and installing, looking to get an agenda scored. Love my Melange Mining Core. Such a great card in Jinteki, in any faction really. All you need is a fair bit of ice to protect it, and it's well worthwhile. And typically with my Jinteki deck, I just create one large remote server. expensive to break through. You're never going to keep them out entirely. But there we go. Whoops. Yeah, that's not a Jackson Howard. That's a snare, which you've now shown to your opponent, so there's no chance he's going to run there. I think I was planning to draw up with him. And you can't draw up with a snare. That's now an absolutely useless card. Never mind. My opponent drawing up and infiltrating the remote, which is a brain trust. Last click infiltrate, probably not the most useful thing. Take my mana to draw, and funnily enough, say, yeah, you're not having that one. Advance and score, doing my 1 net damage. My opponent discarding, which will happen very quickly there, so we have to discard. And I get rid of his Corroder, which obviously I'm quite happy to do at this stage, as he's the only breaker he doesn't have currently. Net damage is strong for that reason. Unfortunately, however, Callum then plays a test run, bringing his Corroder back out into play. So that's going to go back on top of his stack at the end of the turn. And again, clicking for some money. Final click. Looking to run an R&D. Rest my chum for 1. Again, it's not going to do anything, which is a shame, really. But I think it was a case of me thinking, well, if he does overwrite it, his Mimic, that's fine. So scoring the Gillahans and discarding the R&D interface. So it's 2 agenda points to 1. I always love scoring an early Gillahans, but again, it wasn't to be. So Corroder goes back on top of the stack. So I know R&D is very vulnerable at this stage. I think what I'm debating here is whether to trash the chum, save myself credit, or whether to keep it. And I think here is the point where I change my mind and say, actually, no, I'm going to pay 2 and put something on top. Again, I was concerned that he was going to trash the Mimic, overwrite it with something else. Obviously, he would have lost the personal touch, but again, I wanted to ensure that wasn't going to be a problem. So installing another remote, I'm fairly certain that is a Jackson Howard now, and installing into the iced up remote. There comes the Corroder. So we're going to full breaker suite up and running. Always a little bit of a concern, there's no doubt about it. So there's nothing he can't break through, which causes me a little bit of aggravation. I'm having a bit of a think there. Again, his Magnum Up is doing very good work for him. So a misfired trap there, unfortunately. But that's okay, because we're going to install Advance. Is it a June bug? That's the question. So first click cash, second click cash, third click draw, fourth click draw. And I will advance and score my fetal AI. Thank you very much. And again, not the best thing to score in the world, but certainly not the worst. Again, it's another 2 points. And it will do me nicely. Runs on Archives, sees nothing. I think there's a Neural Katana, which is pretty much useless, and an Edge of World. So it's 4 points to 1. Drawing up. Got the snare in hand. Always a nice card. Another test run. Looks like a Cyber Cipher, which he's installing onto R&D. Which again I was surprised at. He didn't know what the outermost piece of ice was. So again, I'm not sure how much benefit he gained from that. I forget to take the marker off, but so using my Jackson Howard, which I've resed and now used to draw. A little bit short on cash here, so I am a little bit concerned, but I think again I'm chasing the agendas now. I can smell blood. He's not running on my remotes. And so I'm 4 credits, 5 credits. Sorry, and now I take up to the hedge fund. So all the way up to 9. I've got the money, which is nice. And I need to discard. And again, I'm thinking here, what ice is pretty much useless, I think, at this stage. Again, with a full breaker suite out, at the moment I think I'm discarding as many sentries as I can. They're just not going to do what I need them to do. So 3 cards go away. There possibly was an agenda involved there as well. First click. Runs on Jackson Howard. I didn't use him, so he had to pay 3 to trash him. He then runs on Archives. Just nice. Again, I didn't think I had agendas to get rid of. There was an Enigma in there, which, again, absolutely useless, really. Back comes the Cyber Cipher. Still on R&D. So I've got plenty of money, which is why I'm installing Advance. So he is taking 2, 4, I think, and making a run on the remote. Oh, and I have absolutely no idea what that is. Crumbs. I think it might be an Eli? Possibly. I think that's about right in terms of the amount you spent to break it. But bounces off. Score another fetal AI, so up to 6 points. I'm doing 1 net damage, taking out another copy of Dinosaurus. Not going to concern him too much. Looks like I've got a Nisei in hand. Probably should have scored that one first. I think that was an error there in judgment. So scoring the Nisei first would have been a lot stronger and pretty much the same cost, giving me the token I need to hopefully score match point. I'm not sure if I maybe top deck the Nisei. Hedge fund, and just taking a whole buttload of cash. So he is running onto R&D. Not resing the outermost piece of ice. I think that's an early MP. Nothing to steal, regardless. And on match point now, has to play my game. Anything I put in that remote, he pretty much has to run against now. Which is where cards like Edge of World and Junebug, Snare really come into their own. Taking 3. Again, enabling the trigger of snares. First click, draw. Second click, take... Oh, sorry, second and third click, take 4. And then he's going to run on R&D. Giving some thoughts to whether to res the ice, the outermost ice. I think it might be an Eli. And again, I'm just debating whether it's worth blocking him. It is the Eli. Still not sure what ice on the remote server is. So it's going to cost him to break through. It's soaking up the cash. Sees another Eli on top. And he runs on HQ. Trying to steal that elusive agenda, which he doesn't get. Okay, I'm pretty sure there is one in there. My hand size is quite large. I'm quite comfortable on 5 cards. And I'm taking the cash again. I'm in no immediate hurry. He's only on 1 agenda point. I'm very comfortable on 6. And I can afford to play the waiting game. So with Magnum Opus, he can certainly accelerate his economic engine a great deal faster than mine. And he's going to run on my hand again. Oh, no, sorry. No, he's running on R&D. And sees a Baku card, I think. Just cost him almost all his credits. Again, he accelerates up, and unfortunately has to slow right down. So, Celebrity Gift for the first 2 clicks. Paying the 3 and showing him 5. Oh, no agendas there. So, I've got a hedge fund and a Jackson Howard, a snare. And I think 2 pieces of ice. One looks like a chum. Taking 10 credits. Thank you very much. And then last click, would imagine I'm probably going to play the hedge fund. There we have it. So another 4 credits. Going from 3 all the way up to 14. Lots of money. All I need now is an agenda. So Diesel accelerating through his deck. Quite sure what he's looking for. Maybe he's just looking to buff his hand size up a little bit. And then discarding down. So Jackson Howard comes out. At this point I'm looking to install Jackson Howard, draw 2, looking for that last agenda. Install.
First click, infiltrate.
Infiltrate. First click. Edge of World. Oh, nuts. He was a nice try. But he had the right card at the right time. This is a shame. The 2 brain damage would have been a nice little bonus. Running R&D. And seeing another Gillihan's. Not the agenda he wanted. Definitely the agenda I wanted, though. And taking out his AV access, meaning that he now cannot shuffle his heat back into his stack. Not what he wanted to see there either, really. But he's got a full breaker suite out, so he's not too concerned, and sentries can't touch him. So program destruction is incredibly unlikely. So 3rd piece of ice goes onto the remote. We're going to trash the failed trap, install, and advance. I'm pretty much telegraphing there that it's a Nisei, with only 1 installation on it, but he now knows he has to break through it. So he clicks twice for cash, or 3 times for cash with Magnum Opus. And he's in a very difficult position here. He's only got 6 credits.
Yeah, of course, it's fun.
And what's it going to do? If that's an agenda, it's the game. Last click. Giving it some thought. He doesn't run. So I score the Nisei, and it's all over. 7 points to 2 points. Again, quite a comfortable Jinteki game for me in the end. Even with the full breaker suite, managed to keep him out, keep him cautious, and certainly pulled the agendas when I needed them. So yeah, that was it. So it was a tie game, and I go on to the 4th round of Swiss, which is against an opponent that eventually goes on to win the tournament. Boo! Never mind. Right, here we go then. So on to the last game.